Hi friends, I'm Crystal Bessie with the Louisiana Farm to School program. This month's Louisiana Harvest of the Month is native only to North America, and their origin goes all the way back to the Ice Age. It's nicknamed the starberry, and their wild cousins were a delicacy, even gracing the first Thanksgiving table. It's blueberries. No matter how you serve them, blueberries take center stage in many tasty treats. And today we're going to Cockeyed Farms to find out just what makes the blueberry the star of the show. If you take a closer look, the blossom end of each berry, called the calyx, forms a perfect five-pointed star. Blueberries were highly regarded by indigenous North Americans who knew them as starberries. They were a gift from the Great Spirit, and every part of the plant was used, both fresh and dried, for their flavor and nutrition, and for their healing qualities, like cough syrup or tea. They shared one of their favorite blueberry recipes at the first Thanksgiving feast, sautetig. It was a simple pudding made from dried blueberries and dried cracked corn mixed with water. I'm here with Brandon Bro of Cockeyed Farms in Folsom, Louisiana. Thanks so much for having us today.
It's an honor for us to host y'all today.
I think you have an interesting story about how you got into farming. Can you tell us a little bit about where Cockeyed Farms, where that idea came from?
Well, it started with the cockeyed farmer, and I am the cockeyed farmer who used to fly scout attack helicopters in the United States Army. And in 2012, what we found out due to toxic exposure in Iraq, I began experiencing numerous health conditions, primarily cluster headaches. I was up to 14 prescription meds a day, thus feeling very cockeyed. We decided that we would take a step back and, as a family, start farming in a way to influence and help our mind, body, and spirit while we were determining what was going on. And the orchards were a fantastic blessing that we stumbled upon.
I guess that's not the path you thought you'd be going down with your life.
Not at all.
Well, thank you for your service. I can imagine that was quite a transition for your whole family. This has probably been a little bit therapeutic to be able to come out here and work with your hands all the time.
Absolutely. It was part of the challenge of undertaking farming by really pulling myself out of bed in the morning with a vertigo, with the full body inflammation. You know, it's a way to truly challenge yourself to get out here, do a daily observation to see if I needed to do some sort of a maintenance. Working with the bees and seeing the fruits, literally the fruits of our labor is one of the most amazing benefits.
Blueberry plants are perennial shrubs that produce white, bell-shaped flowers which form blue or purple-colored berries during the warm season. They are part of the heath family along with cranberries and other flowering plants like the rhododendron and azalea, all known for growing in highly acidic and well-drained soils. So what do you do to prepare your soil?
When we first moved here, we got a very inexpensive soil test from our county agent and sent it off to LSU for analysis to verify that our pH was acidic enough to make the blueberries happy. We did find that we were deficient in some other elements and nutrients, so we broadcast spread all certified organic approved amendments, and that's normally a time release, so it takes some time to affect the plant to help improve their health. And so in the meantime, we do foliar applications of fish emulsion, coral calcium, liquid humates, blackstrap molasses. We utilize the foliar application for the best yields and the highest yield of crop possible.
Anything besides weeds?
Well, the blueberries are, and especially the rabbit eye variety here in Louisiana, are fairly pest resistant. So we really don't have to worry about that all too much. It's primarily the weeds and the grasses that compete.
You also need to prune blueberry bushes, is that right?
Absolutely. And these trees are, like we said, almost 50 years old, so they're a lot more mature than what you would normally want. You want primarily 7 around 8 canes to the bush, and so after the actual harvest, we will prune the trees back to hopefully have some of that warmer season still available.
There's 3 different types of blueberries commercially grown: the rabbit eye, the southern highbush, and the northern highbush.
Correct.
What do you guys have here?
Primarily we have the rabbit eye. We know we have at least 3 different varieties here. To increase the pollination, we had bees a couple hives that were here on the property, we implemented additional hives and really saw the impact on the pollination from the bees. Got a higher yield with the berries, much happier plants, and way more plentiful with the actual fruit.
Well, I can't wait to hear more about these blueberries that you have, but I think Lauren and Judy have something cooking up in the kitchen for us. Let's go find out.
Let's go.
So here we are at Cockeyed Farms, and I love the name and I love the place. It's just wonderful. When I was a little kid, I used to go around and pick those blueberries, and they would turn me blue because I would eat them and pick them and really never had much of an end harvest. Something else that I really like about blueberries is the pigment, and that's part of what makes them so good for you. And the pigment in a blueberry is called an anthocyanin. And right now what you see is the blue, it looks blue, and that's just the skin. But what we're going to do is cut it in half and show you that it is green on the inside, whitish green on the inside. The blueberries grown here are bigger than the ones that I used to pick, and they will pop when I bite down on them, which is half the fun. Reese is going to come over here and tell us about a little something that she learned how to do with blueberries, taking advantage of the fact that the center part can soak up a little bit of juice. So tell us about that, Reese.
So yes, I have figured out something about blueberries that while I was in blueberries giving apple juice to little kids, I poured a little bit of apple juice into a glass jar without any water, then added a little bit of water. And then I added some ice cubes and then some blueberries. When I taste them, they taste delicious. Do you know why?
Why?
Because when you put a blueberry into something that tastes a little bit sweet and tart, it absorbs into the blueberry and it tastes amazing.
Okay, well, very good. I'm going to remember that trick.
And my brother right there
Okay, come here.
is going to tell you a little bit about the blueberry sauce that they're going to be making.
So we're going to make some blueberry sauce. You taste tested our blueberry sauce. How was it?
I kind of thought about it creamy, tasty. It was delicious.
Very good. Very good. Very good. I'm glad you liked it. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is make a smoothie with some frozen blueberries. But first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how to freeze blueberries. It's best to freeze them without water on them. They will hold up better that way. Then, right before you use them, that's when you wash them. So what we have here are some of their blueberries, some of their frozen blueberries, a little bit of very fancy ice, and we're going to put some orange juice, Louisiana orange juice, by the way, in there. And a little bit of this honey. We're going to spoon some yogurt in there. The yogurt helps to make it have a lot of good nutrients in it also. So we're going to put this lid on. You want to push that button?
Ooh, yummy.
All right, let's see how this tastes. Oh, look how pretty it is. What do you think?
It tastes very good.
Okay, very good.
I'll keep this.
Yes, you can keep it. Go drink that. So to make our blueberry sauce, we're going to start with 2 cups of fresh or frozen blueberries, 1/4 cup of water, 1 cup of freshly squeezed Louisiana orange juice, and 1/2 cup of sugar is what we usually use. But instead today, we used about 1/4 cup of this wonderful creamed honey. And it has so much sweetening power that we really didn't have to add 1/2 cup. While you're waiting for it to come to a boil and stirring it, take 1/4 cup of cold water, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, about 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract, and a little bit of cinnamon. Mix that together, and then in the boiling berries, you're going to slowly stir that cornstarch mixture in and bring it back to a boil, and it will thicken and turn glossy and be just delicious. Put this sauce on waffles or pancakes, in a parfait like we did today, on top of your oatmeal, on top of a biscuit, which is my favorite way. The fun is endless. So let's taste a few of these treats and get back to see what Crystal is learning about growing blueberries.
Did you ever notice that silvery, powdery coating on your blueberry? That's called the bloom, and it's actually a natural defense from external damage. In fact, when shopping for the best blueberries, the one still covered in the waxy coating is a true sign of freshness. Blueberries are a superfood packed with vitamins and antioxidants. They're grown around the world, with North Carolina, Michigan, Georgia, and New Jersey as the top U.S. producers. It wasn't until the early 20th century that most farmers thought the wild blueberry could not be domesticated. It was through the dedication of Elizabeth Coleman White, a true pioneer and daughter of a cranberry farmer, paired with the expertise of a botanist, Dr. Frederick Coville. This unlikely partnership produced the first cultivated blueberry crop in 1916, and the rest is history. Brandon and Lauren, thank you so much for having us today. It's beautiful here, and I loved hearing about all your blueberry products. Where can we find your products?
So a complete list of vendors is on our website, and you can check it out there.
Okay, and do you guys ever host farm tours or anything?
We love to host the local community for farm tours. We'd love an
Awesome.
opportunity to do that.
So they can find your information on the website
That's
as
correct.
well?
Everything's
Okay.
on the website.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
The Louisiana Harvest of the Month program showcases a different Louisiana-grown food each month in Louisiana communities. We hope you will join us in tasting Louisiana this month.
Support provided by the Louisiana Ag in the Classroom program, giving educators the tools to increase understanding of agriculture and renewable food, fiber, and fuel systems. Learn more at aitcla.org. And by the Louisiana Department of Health, working to improve disparities in healthcare and health outcomes. Information at ldh.la.gov.